Eric here with Team Eccentric, and I'm bringing you guys my Mermail deck list that went undefeated in 4 rounds of elimination in a side event at the Columbus, Ohio Regional. I did play in the regional itself, and I didn't do very well because I was playing a different build of Mermail. I was playing a build that was more similar to the top 4 build in the OTS on Team Samurai X1's channel. I didn't really care for the build. It was definitely good. It definitely made a lot of plays when it had certain cards, but you know, I feel like some of the nimble cards are almost like drawing, you know, garnets, in the fact that, you know, there's really not much you can do with them, so it doesn't really allow you to, you know, get intrinsic value off of a lot of the nimble cards. The only nimble cards that actually had playable value was Nimble Beaver and Nimble Angler. The other ones were just kind of there for link fodder, which, you know, isn't necessarily good if you draw them. However, this build, when I dropped from the tournament, I changed up the build a little bit because I had some spare cards on me. You know, from Theory Crafting the night before, and I rebuilt this list and entered into the side event, the Win-A-Mat event, which, as you can see, I won this Starving Venom mat. Really cool mat. I really like it. It's awesome. And that being said, I actually went undefeated. I didn't just play rogue decks either. I mean, I did play 2 rogue decks in the forms of Cosmos and Medolce. However, the other 2 decks were Pendulum Magicians and Mechanites. So, you know, I did play a little bit of meta. It was really cool. But now, let's get into the profile. I'll show you guys a lot of my Theory Crafting. I'll also actually show you guys my Theory Crafting with the side deck as well. And as you can see, I also acquired some new cards for the extra deck, including Link Kuriboh, which really makes this deck that much better. You know, just allowing you to modulate your graveyard and tribute off your princes for Moulin, so that you can get the 5th water in the grave, so you can rip cards out of your opponent's hands. It's just really good. So let's get into it. For the big Mermail guys, playing 1 Abyss Lead, just being able to rip cards out of your opponent's hand turn 1 is great, plus it's one of your muscle cards. And you know, it's ripping cards from the hand, just allows you to take a lot of advantage away from Pendulum players specifically, because they need a lot of cards in their hand in order to play. You know, just ripping combo pieces from the hands is great. After that, I'm playing the triple Megalo. Megalo being the OTK button. You know, he's what punches through a lot of your opponent's life points and a lot of your opponent's big boards. And plus, being able to drop 2 waters can be very relevant in times where you have another Mermail and Gund, which you'll see why in a little bit. I also played triple Mermail Abyss Tias. This particular Mermail is great because it's just a 1-drop, so if you draw this in a Goons, you have a lot of plays to go off of, and it's just great, you know, it's just great to drop 1 water relative to multiple, and on top of that, just the card's intrinsic value in regards to your card economy is great. Just being able to, you know, plus so much off of this in Prince. You know, you draw this in Prince going second as well as a Game of Seal, you're probably going to win that game as long as everything resolves properly. After that, I did play a lot of small Mermail cards, a lot of lower level ones, which actually, you'll see one of my techs that I really like. It just allows me to link climb. I played double Gund. Gund, obviously, you know, being at multiples really helps with lead, and on top of that, there is another combo piece in this deck that you'll see in a moment that I really like alongside Gund. Played 1 Pike, because Pike searches Gund, searches your marksmans, and it allows you, given certain circumstances, you know, another discard outlet for cards like Dragoons, and you can make rank 4s off of it. After that, I'm playing 1 Lind, because Lind, you know, tutors out other Mermails, and I am playing Spheres, so like you can Sphere into your Powerhouse, which is Abyss Lead, or your OTK, which is Abyss Megalo, which is great. After that, I'm playing 1 Turge, because Turge allows you to add back advantage, which normally I don't like Turge. I feel like it's kind of just one of those, you know, late game cards that never really did anything. It's kind of gimmicky, but now that I've tested it with this other Mermail card that I'm playing that you'll see in 1 second, this card is great alongside it. And that card is Mermail Abyss Dyne. Mermail Abyss Dyne, I noticed a lot of people don't play this card, and I don't understand why. I mean, I know it's kind of niche and weird, but I really like this card because it allows me to link climb. You know, if it's searched in any way, shape, or form, you can special summon it straight from your hand. If it's if it's added from graveyard to hand, which Turge does, it also allows you to special summon it. And on top of that, if it's special summoned by a Mermail's effect, you can special summon another level 3 or lower Mermail from a grave, which is a great interaction with Lind. So if Lind is specialed off of Sphere and it's destroyed at the end of the turn, you special back Dine, and Dine's effect allows you to retrieve the Lind. So, you know, obviously, given particular circumstances, you can even make rank 3 plays, you can link climb with it. It's just really, really good. So that's it for the Mermail lineup, and I apologize for the extensive description as to why I'm playing Abyss Dying, but honestly, Abyss Dying is great because it just allows you to facilitate a lot of your link plays, and, you know, think of it this way. This card is kind of, in a way, like a Trick Clown, in the sense that, you know, if anything is, you know, if it triggers any of its effects, it just allows you another body on the board to link something with. It's really, really cool. So that's it for the Mermail players. Now we're playing with the Atlanteans, which is triple Prince. As always, Prince is the heart and soul of the deck. It's just great. Love this card. After that, triple Infantry, because removal of face-up cards right now is really prevalent. Plus the extra normal summon actually does come up quite a bit. So 3 heavy Infantry I actually really like. After that, I'm playing double Goons. Goons is just, you know, the Searcher. It's standard. And then after that, a lot of people probably disagree with me on this, but I'm playing double Marksman. There is still back row in this format. Granted, you don't see it a lot, so you always just end up kind of siding these out depending upon your matchup, or you can even just side one out. And I know a lot of people just main 1 and then they main the 3 infantries as their ratio, but I really like this ratio because, you know, given those really weird niche circumstances where Marksman gets to do battle damage, you can special summon Prince if you didn't see it. And on top of that, just being able to OTK with Marksman after like a Megalo tributes your Prince off can be really good. So that's it for the Atlanteans. You know, same ratio other than the triple heavy infantry. It's just really good, honestly. I really like triple infantry. It honestly allows me to remove cards very, very easily. So then after that, I'm playing double Gamma Seal just to tribute over my opponent's masterpieces and, you know, problem cards that I wouldn't be able to normally beat over or target to destroy. Moulin, because going first, Moulin is a delinquent duel and it's much easier to make in this deck, especially now that I have Link Rebo and Miss Starboy. This card is so easy to make. You know, if I see Prince and I resolve Dragoons, I'm probably making this, especially if I'm going first. After that, 1 Deep Sea Diva because it's obligatory. And then for the last 2 monsters in the deck, they're just hand traps, triple Ash Blossom. You can always just side these out for something else given the particular matchup. Pendulum Magicians comes up. These really aren't as relevant, so you can just side these out for something else. So that's it for my monster lineup. It's a little bit heftier than usual of a monster lineup. I'm playing 30 monsters. Normally I only play like 25, 26, maybe 27, sometimes 28. I just feel like right now monsters are very, you know, having as many waters as possible to resolve your effects is just really, you know, important right now. After that, for spells, I'm playing double Instant Fusion. You'll see my 1 Instant Fusion target in the extra deck and why I play it. This card is honestly great. After that, for the rest of the spells, I'm playing 1 Abyss Gilded Mizuchi, 1 Moray. Multiple Moray I feel like actually kind of bricks, you know, in top decking situations. You know, you don't want to draw Moray, and I did discuss my build with another Mermail player at the Ohio Regional, and he said, why not play Desires? And I see his point because in a top decking situation, Desires is always going to be better than Moray. However, I just feel like, you know, this deck, being a deck that is more focused around the early and the mid game, you know, you're not trying to get in those situations where you're top decking. So if you're in a situation where you're top decking, unless you draw some kind of, you know, comeback card like Soul Charger or Monster Reborn, you're probably going to lose. So at that point, you know, it's just a matter of trying to play through that situation. However, I feel like Moray is just better early to mid game. After that, I play 1 for 1. That's another copy of Prince. I play Soul Charge to reestablish. This is one of the comeback cards. I play Upstart Goblin. I play Monster Reborn, another comeback card. I play Raigeki because it destroys everything. And that's it for the spell lineup. And then just 1 trap card in the form of Abyss Sphere. Abyss Sphere is really, really cool because it has, like I said, that scenario with Lind where, you know, you special out Lind. Lind is destroyed at the end phase, and then Lind gets you your Dine, Dine gets you back your Lind, which allows you to make either Link plays, or you can just crash with your Lind for a second, you know, resolution of Lind's effect to get a bigger Mermail out. It's actually really awesome. I really like the interactions in the main deck. And now going to the extra deck, I'm playing one Link Rebo. This card is great. I'm playing as for Link 2s, 3 of them. I'm playing Underclock Taker, Proxy Dragon, and Starboy. Each of them has their own purposes, but they're definitely all imperative to this deck strategy. For with one Link 3, I'm playing Decode Talker. It's just so I can get into Moulin easier. You know, because Moulin, honestly, you know, there are certain situations where, like, sometimes you'll have too many Waters in Grave or not enough Waters in Grave at a certain point that you want to, you know, modulate your graveyard, and just making sure that you have all the links necessary allows you to do that. And then for the 2 Link 4s, Firewall and Skull Dread, because Firewall, I have gotten to a point where I was able to co-link Firewall in 3 different spots, and, you know, 3 co-links, which is, you know, fully loaded, which allows me to add back cards and bounce cards on my opponent's board, which is just great disruption. So that's it for the links. Now for the Xyz, I'm playing 1 Abyss Gyos, 1 Abyss Dweller, 1 Bahamut Shark, and 1 Toad. That's it for the Xyz monsters. I was thinking of cutting some stuff and putting some more Xyz in, because in my opinion, Mermails use Xyz the best, in the fact that you can trigger goons off of cost for Xyz monsters. However, I just feel like this is the best ratio as of right now. After that, for the Synchros, I play 1 Cyframe Lord Omega. This is actually really easy to make, and there is a combo that I'm able to rip 4 cards out of my opponent's hand, with Moulin ripping 2, Lead ripping 1, and then this ripping another. I was able to pull it off. However, it takes a lot of one-of cards, so it's not really consistent, but I did pull it off about 2 or 3 times since I built this version of the deck. It's just, I don't know, like, just being able to rip. That's like the whole strategy of, in my opinion, going first with this deck, is to rip cards out of your opponent's hand and just kind of like, you know, plus off of that and minus your opponent. So then for the last 2 Synchros, I'm playing 1 Coral Dragon, because linking with this allows you to draw, and it is removal. It's in water removal, which allows you to trigger your Atlanteans as well. And then I'm playing 1 Herald of the Arclight for going first, so you can establish negation. Because this deck, I feel, you know, it has a really good going second strategy already, and the fact that it OTKs quite a bit. So going first is where you really want to focus your extra deck on, which is why I play like Toad, Dweller, and the Abyss Gyos. So that's it for the Synchros. And then for the last monster in the extra deck, it's my Instant Fusion target, Millennium Eyes Restrict. This card, honestly, like, this card is great, because if you Instant Fusion into this before you make any other plays, you summon this, you normal Prince, you activate Prince's effect, your opponent attempts to Ash you, or Ash your Dragoon's Resolution or anything, this negates your opponent's Ash. This card is amazing. Not only that, it's another target that you can use in order to get into your Link Rebo, in case you have already 5 Waters in Grave, so you don't have to, you know, use your Prince and get 6 Waters in Grave. It's just great. Like, this card is amazing. So that's that for the main and extra. And now for the side deck that I used in the regional side event that won me this mat. Honestly, this was kind of bad theory crafting, I feel like, but it did work. It was okay. It did what it did, and it did well. So, you know, I mean, obviously this deck went undefeated in the side event, so I can't really complain. So starting off, triple Droll Lockbird. This card really, I only sided it in against the Pendulum matchup. It's the only time it was really relevant. After that, triple Mystical Space Typhoon. This just for True Dracos. However, you know, I didn't play against True Dracos in the side event, so it really wasn't all that relevant. Granted, yeah, it kind of helped against Pendulums, but it didn't really do much, because obviously destroying Pendulums allows them to resolve their effects. And that's not something you want. After that, I played against triple Forbidden Chalice, or I played with triple Forbidden Chalice for turn 1 Dwellers, turn 1 Calamities, things like that. And honestly, it didn't really come up all that much, but I did side it in against every single matchup, just in case. And then I played 1 Dark Hole. And then for the traps in the side, I played a triple Mind Crush for opposing evenly matched. You know, your opponent enters battle phase with nothing on board. That's a pretty good tell that you can just flip this and then force all the evenly matched out of their hand, and you get insight into what they're playing, or at least what their hand is at that point, which is great, because then you can kind of mold your plays around that and play around what their hand is. And then for the last card in my side deck, I played triple Evenly Matched, because this is amazing against back row decks. drop this and your opponent cries, basically. So that's it for my undefeated Mermail list that went 4 rounds of elimination in the Columbus, Ohio Win-A-Mat side event. It was really, really cool, really, really fun. We didn't need a deck list, so that's why I kind of like switched over from the Nimble Mermail version to this, because my original list was based off of Nimble Mermail, or was based off of the OTS Championship, top 4 build, which I didn't really care for, and I even expressed that to some of my teammates, like Connor. I didn't really care for the build, however, I did like that it could establish really big turn 1 boards, but that's essentially all it did. It didn't do anything else but that, and I felt like the theory crafting was kind of flawed. Granted, the theory behind the deck on paper is great, but in practice, in essence, the deck didn't really do what I wanted it to do, and I always bricked the Nimbles. Essentially, the Nimbles were the Nimble Manta and Nimble Beaver were kind of like drawing Garnet in a Brilliant Fusion engine. You just don't want to see that. You want to keep that in deck so that you can trigger your anglers and get off link plays. With that being said, guys, let me know what you think in the comment section below. I really appreciate all of your views. If you really like this deck profile, definitely give it a test it out on YGO. I'm telling you, this version of the deck is really, really cool right now. I really like the way this particular version plays. It's honestly probably the best version of Mermail that I've played in a long time. And that being said, I'm really happy with it. It won me a free mat, guys. If it won me a mat, there's got to be something right about this deck. But like I said, leave comments in the comment section below. Let me know what you think about this deck profile. Really appreciate all your views, all your viewership, subscribe, everything. We really appreciate it. Eric here with Team Eccentric, and I am signing out. Rate and subscribe, leave your comments and ideas in the comment section below, and don't hesitate to give us respectful suggestions on content you want to see. Eric on behalf of the team saying take care, and Team Eccentric out.